All right, folks, we got some news regarding Trump and Ukraine. The Associated Press reports President Trump on Wednesday warned Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy that he better move fast to negotiate an end to Russia's invasion of Ukraine or risks not having a nation to lead. The rhetoric from Trump toward Ukraine comes amid an escalating back and forth between the two presidents and rising tensions between Washington and much of Europe over Trump's approach to settling the biggest conflict on the continent since World War II. Trump's harsh words for Zelenskyy drew criticism from Democrats and even some Republicans in the U.S., where Ukraine's defense against Russian aggression has had bipartisan support. Zelenskyy said Trump was falling into a Russian disinformation trap. Yeah, it's not just Trump, buddy. There's a whole media apparatus that kind of does that. Not mainstream media, but like people like Tucker Carlson in the U.S., they're very, very pro-Putin, very pro-Russia. Tucker Carlson went to Russia and was like, hey, this is pretty great, guys. This is cool. And he interviewed Vladimir Putin. So, yeah, it's not just Trump. Trump, who is trying to bring the fighting to a close on terms that Kiev says are too favorable to Moscow, used an extended social media post on his Truth Social platform to lash out at Zelenskyy and call the Ukrainian a dictator without elections. President Trump is lashing out at another leader and calling them a dictator. Now, to be fair, there are some concerning things in Ukraine. I've read about some of their free speech laws, how they're not really all that great, especially compared to the U.S., where we have very liberal speech laws, very strong free speech protections. But this is just the pot calling the kettle black, because Trump would gladly undo all of the free speech protections in the United States if it was to serve his best interests. And as for a dictator without elections, if Trump could have his way, there would be no elections in the U.S., and he would just get to serve as U.S. president forever, as long as possible. There wouldn't be a 2028 election, and the 22nd Amendment would be abolished. And in fact, he had a Republican in Congress putting forward an amendment to the 22nd Amendment that would allow a president to serve more than two non-consecutive terms, provided that those first two terms were non-consecutive. So Trump's got lackeys in Congress trying to make him a dictator, trying to put him in office for longer than he's constitutionally able to. And he's even said he would be a dictator on day one of his presidency. So this is total projection. It's totally hypocritical. Does he understand hypocrisy? I don't think so. He doesn't care. He just cares about what's in his best interest. Think of it, a modestly successful comedian, Volodymyr Zelenskyy, talked the United States of America into spending $350 billion to go into a war that couldn't be won, that never had to start, but a war that he, without the U.S. and Trump, will never be able to settle, Trump said of Zelenskyy, who was a popular television star in Ukraine before running for office. Yeah, all that self-importance. He, without the U.S. and Trump, and he puts Trump in all caps. This is such typical Trump foreign policy. He has not changed one iota from his first term. The U.S. has obligated about $183 billion since Russia invaded Ukraine in February 2022, according to the U.S. Special Inspector General conducting oversight of American assistance to Ukraine. Trump, who was in Miami for a meeting of business executives hosted by Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund, accused Zelenskyy of being a dictator without elections. Due to the war, Ukraine did delay elections that were scheduled for April 2024. Okay, so he did not even cancel elections. He delayed elections. He didn't cancel elections. Trump is a bold-faced liar. This is shameful. Why does a U.S. president get to act this way toward our allies? What on earth makes him think he's empowered to do that? If Americans knew that this was coming, would they still have voted for Trump? The American people, I don't know what polling shows on Ukraine and Russia, and I know some people have said, I'm sick of funding Ukraine with my tax dollars. But if people knew that they were electing if people remembered that they were electing someone who treats the world stage like this, they probably would have been more careful to not vote for this guy. But whatever, low prices or something, right? We want low prices, folks. And prices were supposedly too high under Biden-Harris. and Trump's going to bring them down, even though he hasn't yet. Let me know what you think about this development in the comments below. As always, please like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the Morris, the Merrier, and I look forward to speaking to you in my next video.